question that I've been asking myself while watching Detective Pikachu. I just got back from the theater. I know it's been taking me a long time, but again, the theater that I go to regularly, they can only play one film at a time. And finally, they're showing Detective Pikachu. Now, that biggest question that I was asking, why doesn't Ryan Reynolds do stand-up comedy? How come a lot of actors who are so good at doing comedy off camera have their own stand-up routine? We've got Jennifer Lawrence, we've got Ryan Reynolds. I could go on, okay? They all should do their own stand-up special. Anyway, let's get down to Detective Pikachu. It is an action comedy film. Well, it's definitely for Pokemon fans. I used to watch Pokemon a lot, but that's when I was like a little boy. Like I was probably 6 or 7, and I stopped watching it by the time I was 8. I don't know why I stopped watching it, but now I gotta really catch up. I gotta join the club again. It's great that we get to see Ryan Reynolds doing voice work, and I have to say, nowadays when I see Pikachu, I'm just gonna think Ryan Reynolds, okay? When I see Deadpool, I think of Ryan Reynolds. And, it's just that I think Ryan Reynolds was the perfect choice to do the voice of Detective Pikachu. No. Let me just put it this way. If Pikachu talked, like, way back in the day, like, way back when Pokemon first began in the 90s and early 2000s, if you had to choose a voice actor for Pikachu to talk, it would be Ryan Reynolds. I just can't think of anyone else who would voice Pikachu. Also, we've got one familiar face. We've got 2 familiar faces. Ryan Reynolds, you already know. And if you're actually a big follower of the Pirates of the Caribbean films, it stars the actor from Dead Man's Chest and At World's End. It's the actor who played Davy Jones, and his name is Bill Nighy. And I just thought he was great as a villain. He starts off decent, and then all of a sudden we find out he's a bad guy. His character is a bad guy. Isn't that always the way with villains that I see? Like, that's one of the biggest cliches of villains that I see. They always seem decent. They always are, like, rich, wealthy, living in these castles, mansions, underground mansions. And, basically the villain in Detective Pikachu is someone from a James Bond film. Someone that you'd expect to see in a James Bond film, Overall, I had no problems with the characters. Lots of plot twists. However, when I say lots of plot twists, I actually don't mind these plot twists. As long as you really have your mind set on this. Films like Atomic Blonde, there's just too many plot twists. You just can barely keep track, This was a movie definitely aimed at kids and adults, and there was someone sitting next to me who's actually a friend of mine who worked with me in the theater. She and I were just, she kept saying, "Oh, like when you knew something bad was gonna happen." She and I would both go like, "Uh-oh, like they're gonna be in trouble." And then I was like, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden, all these, just pretty much all these action-packed scenes started happening. And then she was like, "Now they're really gonna be in trouble." More like a case of, you can say that again. This movie really likes to explore the relationship between father and son, and how we can learn from our mistakes, and how we should always give people a second chance. At least that's how I view it. How am I going to rate this? I'm going to give this one 7 out of 10 film cameras. I say 7 out of 10 because there were some scenes in the movie that I thought weren't really necessary, and I thought, there were just some scenes that I thought they could have done better. So that's all I can say about Detective Pikachu, and all I can say is, one last thing I can say is, grab your kids and grab your Pokemon fan friends, enjoy the movie.